My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system, which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California.
It is Monday, April 28, 2025. It's 8:43 a.m. This is documentation of federal group stalking and monitoring, which the people of the state, which includes Tracy Banks, whose apartment is filled with the same framing around her front door of light that's on the ceiling and traveling down on the east living room wall, down from the ceiling to the floor. That's not sunlight, and it is not sunlight as this demon that is, again, not only a gang stalker, which is a psychopath that's demon possessed, that's engaging in the elements of monitoring, and she's gang stalking in her apartment, and that's why her apartment is filled with light that's manifesting out of pure darkness, out of nowhere. And that's why her apartment is a documented facilitating environment where the supernatural is also present, and having the sun present from sunrise until sunset at her apartment. And like I documented on video last night, you're looking at the same light activity as I have multiple shadows in the dark, where no light fixture, no porch lights, no building lights have anything to do with the shadow of the trees that are appearing on the building, where the building lights are not the cause of that light, and the shadow of the trees and my multiple shadows at nightfall. And then there's also the shadow on the ground, in addition to my upright shadows that are surrounding, as I documented last night at Tracy Banks's apartment, where she is gang stalking. This is the same sex offender who exits the apartment using also witchcraft. So this is somebody in her kingdom spouse. I want to be clear. The other one that is also going to be subject to what are restraining orders to keep this person that's been relying on witchcraft, apparently to even get attention from women, someone that's engaging in witchcraft with this 60-plus-year-old pedophile, Tracy Banks. Both of them engaging in witchcraft as they practice the most perverted sex acts with each other, and they both summon demons while they are also obsessively gang stalking me. This is what they've been doing for years, and they are still engaged in practicing witchcraft, both still engaged in what is spiritually attacking. These demons are spying, stalking in the spirit. They're monitoring spirits. And Tracy Banks is doing so with Jason Isaac Fields, someone that she's been having sex with, someone that I formerly only associated with. This person was gang stalking me by talking to me on the phone, just like Tracy Banks does inside of her apartment. This demon, Jason Isaac Fields, was monitoring and gang stalking with the state by carrying on phone conversations with me. And this is someone that is still gang stalking. This is someone that is still practicing witchcraft, stalking in the spirit, monitoring in the spirit, harassing in the spirit, just like this person, Tracy Banks, that practices witchcraft. And she is literally a witch that is pacing as she is exiting the apartment using witchcraft, waking me up from my sleep without tapping like a normal person, like, hey, 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 wake up. These demons use witchcraft in order to disrupt the sleep state. And then this demon, as she does that, then she is opening up the front door and engaging in the same molestation with impossible light activity. And the reason why you have Tracy Banks that is engaging in this criminal conduct, which is terrorism, it's psychological torture. It's that what Tracy Banks has been doing and practicing with the full intention of accomplishing murder. It's something that she's been doing with her adult overweight sized son, Eric Corey Spencer. This is something she's been doing while she's having sex with former associates of mine like Jason Isaac Fields, who was an embarrassment to whoever gave birth to him as well. Clearly has mommy issues while he's having sex with the paternal figure of someone who he formerly befriends, and that's myself. This person clearly has mental issues having sex with everyone that or at least the fake friends that I had in my life. Jason Isaac Fields has had sex with them as well. And this is someone that is spiritually attacking. And in the midst of those spiritual attacks, while still gang stalking with this pedophile that is pacing in and out of her apartment and doing so, using witchcrafts and harassing and molesting with engineer light as she walks out of the apartment. She does so confidently, again, convinced that there is no consequences for engaging in gang stalking with the government. And this is the same confidence that this demon practicing witchcraft, Jason Isaac Fields, also has, fully confident that they're engaging in the pattern of conduct, acting in furtherance of murdering someone, psychologically torturing someone, accomplishing kidnapping by criminally defaming that person. And then when it is unsuccessful, and that person, that is myself, that is am the only person to ever prove the reality of gang stalking, and also providing the body of evidence alone to prosecute it and the government and the demons, the sex offenders like Jason Isaac Fields and Tracy Banks that are engaging in it. This is the demon possessed, the psychopaths themselves that are also very confident in suffering no consequences for it. So I want to make sure that I'm documenting, number one, that the pattern of conduct remains underway, and at it's currently 8:49 a.m. Tracy Banks is engaging in that pattern of conduct, walking out, again, using witchcraft, sure that she has woken me up. And remember, I'm not physically moving when I'm woken up. So I'm woken up by this witch. She practices witchcraft. This is a witch. I'm not just calling names. She's a witch. She's practicing witchcraft. She wakes me up and is already aware that I have been awakened from the sleep state, even though I've not moved on the couch or anything. This is something that she's routinely doing while she then, again, is practicing witchcraft, gang stalking also, while opening her front door has nothing to do with the light that molests my person while I'm on the couch. It also has nothing to do with the light that frames her front door. That's not sunlight either. This is somebody that is monitoring. This is a witch that's practicing witchcraft, and she's also doing so with full confidence that there are no consequences for it. And that is the problem with regard to corrupt law enforcement agencies that she's been gang stalking and criminally defaming me with, in concert with her sex partner, her kingdom spouse, Jason Isaac Fields. These two are still currently engaging in what is the practice of witchcraft with regard to things such as generational curses, where, again, Satan is trying to poison bloodlines. This is a generational curse that is not touching me. It's not affecting me, and it's literally ends with me. And this is, again, the sexual activity, the obsession with sexual activity that Jason Isaac Fields has with Tracy Banks. This is what Satan has literally turned out Jason Isaac. Jason Isaac Fields is not a normal, sane person. This is somebody that is obsessed with sex, obsessed with the idea of sex, obsessed with sex with Tracy Banks. And this is somebody that is obsessed with the perverted notion and fantasizes with sex with me because of all of the satanic sex conduct and sexual activity that he has had with my mother, Tracy Banks. This is someone that is never going to engage in any sexual activity with me. This is somebody that is never going to be lawfully in my presence. This is someone that I fully intend to prosecute, even if the federal government, the state, the entity itself is able to avoid any consequences for engaging in domestic terrorism as I've exposed it. I want to be clear, this demon, Jason Isaac Fields, while he's spiritually attacking, he is very confident that he's suffering no consequences for gang stalking me for all the years that he has, for stealing from me, for defaming me, for engaging in fraudulent conduct, regardless of the ways in which he has sought to or would seek to frame or depict himself as being innocent while having sex with Tracy Banks and enabling this high school graduate, this gang stalker, this demon, this witch that he's been practicing witchcraft and spiritually attacking me with and sharing in criminal conduct against me with, would feign that he's ignorantly a part of all of that. He is not. But nonetheless, this is somebody that I want to be clear is very confident and is even gloating while he's spiritually attacking, gloating about the fact that he is not suffering any consequences, meaning expecting not to be subject to federal prison, expecting not to be subject to a federal prosecution, while he has been engaging in what is terrorism and psychological torture, which is state action, contrary to what the evidence, the body of evidence that I single-handedly have maintained in order to prove the criminal activity that the government has engaged in against me. That government conduct includes that which is committed by ongoing terrorism acts that Jason Isaac Fields is still to date engaging in. And it includes the spiritual attacks. That is the same ongoing criminal conduct while I am still subject to gang stalking with his sex partner that is equally mentally sick. Jason Isaac Fields is not a well person. He's not well at all. He's very sick. He has been, I'm putting it in a humorous framework, but it's not humorous at all. He has been turned out by Satan. This is somebody whose mind has been perverted. A nymphomaniac is nothing other than a secular means for identifying someone that is literally filled with the Jezebel spirit. This is somebody that is engaged in what is a lifestyle of whoredom. This is somebody that relies on sexual activity, sex acts, looking at sexual content, consuming anything that is all manner of sexual. This is somebody that is hypersexual. This is somebody that is homosexual. This is someone that is, again, sexually confused and is addicted to the idea of sexual activity. And that is what is his problem with me. And he has no future of any sexual contact, let alone any sort of verbal contact with me. His addiction with spiritually attacking me is based on his condition of being demon possessed. His criminal conduct of being documented as a gang stalker is sufficient to prosecute him, but I'm expounding upon this demon-possessed person that is spiritually attacking me with his sex partner that has helped him feed into his addiction to sexual activity, which is perverted. It's not a normal appetite of a man that enjoys sexual activity. This is somebody that will have sex with an animal if he could. This is someone that would have sex with underage people if he hasn't already. This is someone that is engaged in sexual activity with males and females. This is indeed a sexually confused and sexually perverted person who is attacking me in the spirit and is also gloating about the fact that he looks forward to suffering no consequences for gang stalking me and furtherance, fully intending to commit murder, fully intending to steal content that I've created, misrepresented as Tracy's, and also seeking to profit from it. This is somebody that is still gang stalking me to date, is gloating about the fact that there are quote unquote men that are helping him engage in some sort of investigation. There is no such investigation and any sort of prosecution that I am given. It is not having nothing to do with any work that Jason Isaac Fields has engaged in. While he was engaging in what is homosexual activity with men and my mother and all types of other people, I was documenting the pattern of conduct that I still remain subject to. That's what Jason Isaac Fields was doing. He was getting sexually gratified with a group of people at times while I am documenting the pattern of conduct. These are two separate acts, and this is something that, again, Jason Isaac Fields is not only sexually perverted. This is somebody that is obsessed with the idea of sexual activity, and it is rooted in his practicing witchcraft, which is what he apparently relies on in order to get attention from women that are not interested in him whatsoever. This is someone that behaves like a rapist, that intends to force himself on someone that has no desire whatsoever or intention to have any even association with him. This is somebody that is gang stalking with Tracy Banks, someone that he is also sexually obsessed with. And you need to understand that this is somebody that has been engaging in the practice of witchcraft while he's having sex with Tracy Banks, somebody that's over 60, double his age, over 60 years old, Tracy Banks is, and he's been engaged in the most perverted satanic ways of sexual contact with her. And this is also the cause of his addiction to sexual activity. And he has in his mind fantasized about having these same sex acts committed on me. This is what he wants to do with the daughter of the witch that he's been engaging in sex rituals with. He is under all circumstances under a Jezebel spirit. This is a demon-possessed person who is sexually perverted. That's what the Jezebel spirit is. The Jezebel spirit manifests in many different ways. And I also want to make sure that it is clear this is pursuant to what is a generational curse. And that is also why Jason Isaac Fields has no opportunity with regard to my full understanding about what is being left behind and exposing the criminal conduct that I've been subject to. But this is relevant to what is demonic activity, and Satan has been using those in my bloodline who are under this same generational curse, and it will not be carried over with any sort of sex-crazed, overly aggressive Jezebel spirit like Jason Isaac Fields, who was gang stalking, who was obsessed with the idea of sex with my mother, and is obsessively consumed with the idea of sexual activity with me, her daughter. And that is never going to actually happen. And I also want to make sure that this is public information, because it is a tragic injustice for anybody being documented as a gang stalker, engaging in terrorism and psychological torture, and not only avoiding justice for committing that, and I lived through it, meaning I would only get any measure of justice if I was successfully murdered. If I was successfully kidnapped somewhere in a mental ward and actually driven crazy by the psychological war campaign that these demons are still engaging in, then that would also not result in justice, because I would be discarded as someone who was merely crazy. And under such circumstances, I also would not achieve or receive any justice from that. This is the criminal system that Jason Isaac Fields, an actual mentally sick person who is also mentally sick, as it would be even secularly diagnosed, if you will, based on his obsession with sexual activity. And it is also a measure of perversion while he's obsessed with sexual activity both with a mother and a daughter. But he is only engaged in sexual activity with the mother. He is never going to touch me, and he is never going to have any association with me either. This is someone that is spiritually attacking, however. This is someone that is deriving pleasure from spiritually attacking. This is the practice of witchcraft, where he's again spiritually attacking and conveying the idea that he is going to force a relationship. He's going to force contact. He's going to force himself on me. He's going to force sexual activity with me, and none of this is ever going to actually happen. This is also relevant to all of the false information that has been pumped out into the public regarding my name, my character. Jason Isaac Fields is the same psychopath, the same pervert that has been turned out by Satan. Both men and women have had their ways with him. This is somebody that is sexually perverted, hypersexed, a homosexual that does not genuinely like women. He is sexually obsessed, and so he has sex with women as a result of that addiction. But this is under all circumstances a homosexual male who is acting out overly aggressive, obsessive ideas, also while he's practicing witchcraft and spiritually attacking me. This is relevant to, again, what I want to state is putting out any information about me to other people, denigrating my character, about who I am as a woman, who I am as a person, who I am as a professional, who I am with regard to what I've exposed about the pattern of conduct. Jason Isaac Fields, as those who apparently listen to my podcast or pay attention to my documentation, have all had sex with Jason Isaac Fields. And so you are equally engaged in this practice of witchcraft. You're under the same demonic spirit, aware of the denigrating content that has been, again, used to misrepresent who I am as a woman, the total opposite of these Jezebel spirits that are in my family, and also that have had sex with Jason Isaac Fields. Jason Isaac Fields has had sex with hundreds of people at least. And this is someone that is obsessed with the idea of sexual activity with me. It is never going to happen. He is an embarrassment to whatever woman gave birth to him. He is an embarrassment. All right. And this homosexual male that relies on witchcraft to haunt a woman in order to overly assert himself, where he is a coward and is in denial about inevitable rejection, is no one that is ever going to have any sort of contact or relationship with me. And it is exposing severe mental illness. And all of his sex partners that are listening to my podcast, all of his sex partners and fellow cult members and gang stalkers that are privy to my documentation, that are hostile to me while I am under no circumstances even interested in anyone that that had sex with you, and anyone that has had sex with hundreds of people like Jason Isaac Fields has, someone that is mentally deranged that would have sex, any sort of contact or relationship with this delusional psychopath with multiple personalities, Tracy Banks, who was a pedophile and also sexually obsessed with me. All of those that have entertained the defamatory content that Jason Isaac Fields and every other demon that has published about me when I am under no circumstances in any relationship with them. These are those that are, again, only obsessed with me. It is the work of Satan, and Satan is also embarrassing them while they're engaging in that conduct, while they are still gang stalking. So I want to be clear, those that are speaking about my financial status, those that are speaking about my physical appearance, those that are defaming me and trying to speak on whatever it is that I've exposed about the state, it is also relevant that you expose what it is that you are exposing about, reference what it is that you are exposing about yourself, because no one that you are gang stalking, no one that you are obsessively watching and consuming their content is anyone that is actually physically unimpressive, intelligently inferior in any regard, anybody that is unpleasant to witness, or anyone that is under any circumstances actually broke. The federal group stalking monitoring system is exactly what is interfering with my liberty right to be what is under all circumstances legitimately wealthy, legitimately successful, but for the envious and mentally ill and sexually perverted gang stalkers who are envious of what it is that I've accomplished. And that is not an actually broke person who is being gang stalked. Secondly, you are gang stalking and obsessed with someone who is under any circumstances unattractive. I have no idea why you would be gang stalking and obsessed with and consumed with someone who is apparently unattractive. That makes no sense either, why you are obsessed with someone who is at the same time you would like to suggest is ugly or unattractive in any regard. I also have no idea why you would even reference or be concerned with someone that is putting out content that is the same content that you would like to misrepresent as being your idea, something that you created, when you were also using it to falsely depict the character of the one that created that content. This is all speaking to the reality of the demons. This is spiritually rooted. These are demons. This is the work of Satan. Those that are envious of my looks. Those are envious. Those who are envious of the woman who I am, because I live nothing like these promiscuous whores who are demonic Jezebel spirits who sleep with girls and boys for free and for food and for goods and services and money, etc. Those that have done so in order to get career prospects. Those that have done so in order to get attention that they're envious that I get, while I never spread my legs open for anyone for any amount of money. This is the entity that is gang stalking and is obsessed with me in doing so, and is also hostile because I'm exposing their condition, the fact that they are demons, the fact that they are obsessed with me, the fact that they are obsessed with my appearance, they're obsessed with my abilities, they're obsessed with the idea of having sexual activity with me because they are perverted. And that is the condition of Jason Isaac Fields, who has apparently had a lot of sexual activity with at least hundreds of people, and many of those he has put out information regarding my character, which he is no one under any circumstances, especially looking at and actually being aware of the speaker, and that is Jason Isaac Fields himself, who suffers from serious and actual mental issues, which is evident in his sexual activity. Somebody that is as hypersexual as Jason Isaac Fields is clearly suffering from emotional, mental issues that are rooted in what is probably his relationship with whoever gave birth to him, while he's having sex with the mother figure of other people that he is alleging that he is interested in. This is somebody that is dysfunctional in all of his ways, and those that are entertaining what is nonsensical, that I would ever even have a voluntary association with a predator like Jason Isaac Fields, with someone that has had sex with hundreds of people, based on the the insatiable and perverted sexual appetite that he engages in such sexual conduct with both men and women. This is somebody that is never, ever going to have any contact with me outside of what is having the authorities called on him in order to immediately have him removed from my presence. This is somebody that is always speaking on me and never has any actual relationship to me. That includes while he's engaged in all manner of perverted sexual activity with his senior size gang stalking kingdom spouse, Tracy Banks, who he is sexually familiar with and is sexually obsessed with me based on his sexual activity with my mother. Okay, this is somebody who is perverted under all circumstances and has spent, again, all night along with his kingdom spouse, Tracy Banks, spiritually attacking me, not taking a wink of sleep, is spiritually attacking me. And this is, again, a demon that lacks social skills, that lacks any ability to accept reality, in denial about what is inevitable rejection after gang stalking me and furtherance of trying to murder me, defaming my character, and then is engaging in what is spiritually attacking me because he is embarrassed about the fact that he is going to suffer what is necessarily a public form of rejection because he was publicly defaming me and gang stalking me, and is also going to be publicly rejected by me. And that's based on attention that he has garnered and focusing on me. I want to be clear, by the way, the entire time, and I am paying no attention to this inevitable Dateline story. This is somebody that is a tragedy waiting to happen. This is somebody that will never have any contact with me, that will never have any association or relationship with me outside of what is being referring to the authorities in order to make sure that he is forced out of my presence and forced to remain no contact, because I have not had any relationship, nor is there any interest with Jason Isaac Fields. Somebody that is severely mentally disabled, somebody that is fairly emotionally unstable, somebody that is also severely mentally imbalanced. And this is also shown through his choice of sex partners that are over 60 years old, such as my mother. And this pervert is obsessed with the idea of having sex with the person that she gave birth with. That is myself. And that's never going to actually happen. It's also not going to happen because the generational curse stops with me, and it's not going to continue, which would be through Jason Isaac Fields, a demon-possessed person that was also gang stalking me. And this is somebody that is of that same Jezebel spirit. And this is also rooted in why he's obsessed with the idea of sexual activity with me, which I am privy to because this demonic person is spiritually attacking. And his spiritual attacks are also what I also want to share is what is gloating about the fact that he's not facing any prosecution for gang stalking, which I find to be what is relevant, the salient information. And if that is the case, it is under no circumstances anything less than what is misconduct by the government, which I'm also going to expose and advocate against. Nobody that is subject to gang stalking, nobody that is surviving gang stalking in the way that I have improved it. Remember, the entity that is gang stalking and you're not able to prove it is the entity that is successfully accomplishing what is kidnapping you and criminally defaming you. And so my resisting that and proving the system of federal group stalking and monitoring is speaking to what is perplexing with regard to why a terrorist such as Jason Isaac Fields would avoid federal prison under any circumstances, would avoid losing his job in law enforcement if that is indeed the position that he's been in, or he's been engaged in targeting me with his sex partner, his cult member, Tracy Banks, the person that is still gang stalking to date. I want to be clear. And this is the person that he is still spiritually attacking me in concert with. They were spiritually attacking when they're engaging in what is perverted sex acts together in bed and with other men and women together. They are still spiritually attacking while Tracy Banks is inside of her apartment at Woodside. And Jason Isaac Fields is also spiritually attacking with his sex partner, Tracy Banks. I want to be clear. In other words, I'm referencing these demons who are together still targeting me while they are still engaging in the same criminal conduct of federal group stalking and monitoring, which is happening in relevant position. All right. This is also relevant as to why such terrorism is underway with impunity. And I'm going to advocate against that. And I'm going to also expose it and speak to why this is exactly why when you're engaging in terrorism with police officers, gang stalking with police officers, they belong in federal prison. They're doing it to murder someone, to psychologically torture, which is to inspire things like suicidal ideation. And you have a delusional psychopath that's demon possessed and spiritually attacking and gloating about the fact that they're not suffering any consequences for it. That is very much a problem. While again pumping out information, this is again a public service announcement. Jason Isaac Fields is a delusional psychopath, and this is a pedophile in the making. Someone that is a threat to all women while he is engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring. Someone that is a threat to women while he relies on force and overt aggression as a means of what is trying to avoid being openly rejected, where demons tell him that he can have his way with any woman, no matter how unattractive he is to that woman, no matter how repugnant he is with regard to having sex with hundreds of people that no respectable, God-fearing woman is ever going to accept. That's what is, again, a walking, talking Dateline tragedy waiting to happen. And every word that he has said denigrating my character, you are going to witness what is actually going to come to fruition, which is Jason Isaac Fields necessarily being rejected. This is somebody that is representing a generational curse, which is stopping with me. Okay, what Tracy Banks has accepted and lived her life with, it is not continuing with me. Jason Isaac Fields is a demon-possessed person who is deceived by multiple demons that are using him. He is practicing witchcraft. He is so pathetic with regard to relying on haunting a woman that he is spiritually attacked, relying on witchcraft in order to get any sort of negative attention from a woman that he claims, and he's not even man enough to claim it in person. He claims it while spiritually attacking a woman that will never under any circumstances even converse with him. That is myself, okay? This is somebody that has been gang stalking me. This is somebody that has been defaming me. This is somebody that is misrepresenting what is the reality of our non-existent relationship. His relationship with me exists in the following. He's been having tantric sex rituals, homosexual activity with everyone else but Erica Spencer while he's been obsessively consumed with Erica Spencer. That makes no relationship, and it will never result in any sort of relationship in the future. That's basic arithmetic. Okay, so I want to make sure that that's clear. There is no actual relation or contact or association, professional or otherwise, with Jason Isaac Fields to occur in the future. And his sex partner, the elderly woman that goes and hangs out in hole in the walls in the middle of the city of Ontario, where she distracts herself from her misery and her wrinkles and her stretch marks that Jason Isaac Fields knows all about because he was licking and sucking all over those stretch marks, those same stretch marks that he fantasizes about when he thinks that sex with me is going to be as out of this world as it was with this 60-plus-year-old woman. This is somebody that is, again, very psychopathic in his sick mind. This is somebody that is never going to have any contact with me in actuality. And this is someone that belongs in federal prison based on the criminal activity that he has committed. And this is someone that is gloating about the fact that he's not suffering any consequences, and that's going to be dealt with when I am given long overdue justice. And if it includes a gang stalker like Jason Isaac Fields not being placed in federal prison where he belongs, then that is going to be something that will be dealt with at that juncture. But it's never going to result in any sort of contact with Jason Isaac Fields. And everyone needs to hear me openly expose that. Jason Isaac Fields has no contact with me. He has no authority over me. He can't even control his own impulses. He can't control his own demons. He can't control what is his mental sickness, let alone control what it is an inevitable rejection from a woman that is not demon possessed, from a woman that would never negotiate with a terrorist or a demon possessed person with a body count that exceeds 250 people at least. This pervert is never coming anywhere close to me, ever. He is an embarrassment, again, to whoever gave birth to him. He's an embarrassment while he has sex with women the same age as his mother. His mental illness, his mental conditions are made manifest through his sexual activity. That's how sick Jason Isaac Fields is. This is somebody that is carrying a curse that is not going to be carried on through me. He's going to sit with those curses and anyone else that is foolish enough to procreate with him, which plenty of people clearly have, because that's who's listening to my podcast, those who are actually involved sexually or in any way with Jason Isaac Fields, who is nothing other than a liability. This is somebody that is literally a walking, talking Dateline story. Okay. It's never going to happen with me. And this is someone that has had sexual activity with Jason Isaac Fields, has had sexual activity with other men. This is someone that has no homosexual man is going to ever be in any romantic relationship with me. No person that has had sex of any regard, unprotected sex, anal sex, oral sex, any sort of sexual activity with any fake friend of mine or any relative like Tracy Banks will never have any relationship or sexual activity with me. I won't be marrying that person. I won't be dating that person. I won't be having tea with that person. That person was gang stalking me. And that person is also engaged in what is sexual activity with a relative. This is how you are carrying on a generational curse. And I'm not under any circumstances entertaining this demonic nonsense. And I'm also literally not interested in someone that had sex with my mother. That's what's wrong with the mind of a pervert like Jason Fields, who has multiple demons based on the hundreds of people with demonic spirits on them that he's been entertaining for years. He is relying on witchcraft in order to get negative attention from me. This is someone that knows that he has no actual chances with me. And it must be public information because this demon, this pervert, this Jezebel spirit, this psychopath that has put out information about my name when he actually does not know me at all. That's why he engaged in sexual activity with my mother and actually thought, while he was listening to Satan, actually thought that he has any chances of ever having any contact, let alone at least a friendship, a formal association with me. He's not having any. None of that is ever going to happen. This is somebody that is going to be restrained with court orders from mandatory no contact because of the level of obsession that he has with me. And this obsession is also irrational. He is not an ex of mine. He is not a former fling. I have not had any sort of substantial relationship with Jason Isaac Fields. His obsession is based on his sexual activity with my mother. And he is sexually obsessed with the idea of having sex with me. This is a perverted, demonic spirit. Okay. And all those that are listening to my podcast because you've had sex with Jason Isaac Fields and you are envious of the way that I look, you're envious of what it is that I've created with regard to enforcing my rights and discerning demonic spirits like yourselves. You should review and look, I would say, examine yourselves with regard to what is wrong with the person, the boys and the girls that would engage in any sort of relationship with the likes of someone, which is a reflection of yourself, what you're dealing with. Jason Isaac Fields is likely a reflection of where you are at in life and what it is that is wrong with you to start. And those that are entertaining such demonic spirits, I would implore you to turn to Jesus. And trying to critique someone that you're envious of does not make what are your projections about yourself reality. When you are envious about your life's decisions versus my life's decisions. That's why you are gang stalking me. That's why you are monitoring me. That's why you are obsessed with me. That's why you are envious of me and not the other way around. Okay, I want to be clear. This is the pattern of conduct of federal group stalking and monitoring, and this is the open exposure of the demon possessed. This is, like I stated before, the team of demons who are actually losers. They don't like their reflections. They don't like their bodies. They don't like the decisions that they've made. They don't like how they are seen in the way that they should be seen. If you slept with hundreds of people, then you are not a lady by definition. You're not a gentleman by definition. You're actually something you would be described as something less complimentary by definition. Okay. And that's not being mean. That's the definition of what people that behave in such manners are referred to as accurately in order to understand when people use words to convey ideas in order to accurately depict what it is that you are describing. People that have sex for money are accurately referred to as prostitutes. Period. Okay, this is the reality. And the fact that you do not like that does not change the fact that I am let's say, more than perfectly acceptable in my physical appearance, in my intellectual abilities, and the content that I've created that belongs to me, that you would like to claim as yours, while you also want to try to denigrate my character about someone and referring to someone that has no chances with me, while you two have already had sex with each other. You are all a disgusting bunch of losers, esteeming yourself as something that you are not. And you are all gang stalking me. It is disgusting. It is, again, the parade of the lost. that are, again, obsessed with that which they cannot be and they cannot have. I would implore all of you to repent. You need to come to Jesus. Your obsession with me will be resolved thereby, by the way. And I also want to make sure that it is clear that no psychopath and no sex offending, sex obsessed Jezebel spirit like Tracy Banks nor Jason Isaac Fields have any place to ever communicate about me accurately. These are people that are obsessed with me, and you are also always mindful of the speaker. And that is everything that has come out of the mouth of this Jezebel spirit, this psychopath, Jason Isaac Fields, that has no relevance to my life. In actuality, the reason why someone like Jason Isaac Fields is even referenced is because they represent a threat while they are gang stalking me and have been obsessed with me, denigrating my character, and also, like a coward does, like someone that is less than a man does, behind my back while I don't even know anything. I'm not even concerned about this person. Okay, this is somebody that is literally a non-factor, literally irrelevant. You could not be any more irrelevant to me while you have hundreds of people on your long list of receipts regarding your body count. There will never actually be any sort of contact or relationship with this delusional psychopath that is suffering from multiple demons that he has yet to be relieved from because he refuses to repent. That's not my problem, and I will not be taking on that curse. Okay, his kingdom spouse, Tracy Banks, however, she's still gang stalking as she walks out of the apartment. Both of them engage in what is spiritually attacking. These are demons that are tormenting them day and night. And these are demons that are harassing me in the spirit because neither one of them are getting their way with me. Neither one of them. Jason Isaac Fields will never get his way with regard to wanting to have sex with my mother, which he accomplished. And now he's obsessed with the idea of sexual activity with me. That is never going to happen. And it is Satan that inspires that type of perversion, that he needs to repent. He needs to seek Christ in that. He also needs professional help. Okay, he will need legal assistance if he continues to defame my name and character in ways in which now I am privy to. This is a documented gang stalker who belongs in federal prison based on the intolerable level of facilitation, not only by being someone that was formerly associated with me, gang stalking me with the state, but someone that is likely in a position to have been abusing a government position while gang stalking. That is on both accounts subject to what is federal prison, as I have exposed it, and based on what is justice that I'm entitled to, because but for my evidence, I would be sitting around 6 feet under somewhere, where demons like Jason Isaac Fields and Tracy Banks would still be having sex with each other and defaming my character after I'm already long gone and dead. These are the likes of those that are celebrating and gloating about the fact that they're not looking forward to any sort of consequences. And so I look forward to finding out how justice is provided, but it will under no circumstances ever result in what is the generational curse continuing by having anything to do with anyone that was ever engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring, and anyone that is demon possessed like Jason Isaac Fields, having any sort of sexual activity like Jason Isaac Fields has with hundreds of people, including Tracy Banks, who is a psychopath, a demon possessed Jezebel spirit, who is obsessively consumed with me, including molesting me while she walks out of the apartment at 8:40 in the morning. And molesting me in doing so. It is currently, again, 9:24 a.m. This is documentation relevant to, again, the overly aggressive demon-possessed sex offender, this predator that has the spirit of a rapist, that resorts to witchcraft in order to get only negative attention from a woman that will never be under any circumstances intimidated into any sort of contact. There is no legitimate apology coming, nor will there be any place given for a demon that's been gang stalking me to apologize. Your lack of being actually apologetic, your engagement in what is witchcraft, your rampant sexual activity with my mom is noted, and I don't need to ever have any physical contact with the likes of a predator like Jason Isaac Fields in order to recognize the fact that this person needs professional help, and also needs help with regard to never being permitted in my presence. And there is no actual apology needed from a predator like Jason Isaac Fields. But this is, again, somebody that is delusional and has been deceived by Satan for years. And that's why he's made the life's decisions that he has, which includes, again, the embarrassing reality of having a body count that exceeds at least 200 people. And I'm being conservative with that. This is somebody that is utterly disgusting. The thought is something that causes me to want to literally throw up. This is somebody that will never have any future with me, and embarrassing this person with information that is factual regarding my absolute lack of interest, my absolute disgust, how spiritually poisonous and utterly repugnant this person is, and people that reflect and mirror what it is that he's done in his life. Somebody that has nothing in common with me, somebody that is under no circumstances equally yoked with me, somebody that has no chances whatsoever of even having any association with me. This is necessary when you are dealing with someone that is obsessed, like Jason Isaac Fields is, obsessed in the most perverted manners. This is somebody that is under all circumstances very threatening, and their delusional obsession with sexually perverted ideas, and also the notion in that sexual perversion is diluted with the idea of love. Love has nothing to do with obsession. Love has nothing to do with what are perverted and satanic sex acts. Love has nothing to do with having sex with my mother and then wanting to have sex with me. After gang stalking me, trying to murder me and defame my character. And then after defaming my character, now the public is witnessing you're being rejected by the one who you were formerly defaming. Nobody forgot that. The only one that forgot that is this demon-possessed pervert, Jason Isaac Fields. It is my duty to make sure that no one forgets everything that came out of his face, and he is going to eat all of that. And by the way, the person that is rejecting Jason Isaac Fields is under all circumstances somebody that he is disqualified in every regard to ever stand next to. And that's just the reality based on his life choices and my life choices, based on the caliber of people that he has associated himself with and he has literally laid in bed with, and what is spoken for me and my life and how I've lived it. The two, you reap what you sow. You are what it is that you live out. You're not living one way and then just speaking about yourself as though you're something else. That's what losers do. Demons who are delusional. That's what Satan does while wanting to make everyone else live their life like losers and then just call yourself a winner. That's not the reality, however. And this is inevitable with regard to what Jason Isaac Fields has been reaping. Okay, this is, again, I could not care less about an audience. I care about moving on with my life and getting justice. And apparently the audience that Tracy Banks and Jason Isaac Fields have garnered with regard to what is an utter fail, with regard to humiliating themselves, embarrassing themselves, exposing themselves for the sex predators that they both are, while they engage in what is rampant sexual activity with multitudes of people, while they are also actually exposed as being obsessed and consumed with me and who I am naturally, who I am effortlessly. And while neither of them can individually share in that or be that on their own, this is going to require what is Christ Jesus. Neither of them have repented. They're practicing witchcraft. They're spiritually attacking. Neither one of them have repented. They are exhibiting severe instability in that failure to repent and still exhibiting obsession with me. I want to be clear, that is, they will never get to that point. And at their big ages, Tracy Banks is over 60 years old. Having sex with people that are my age is speaking to what is a life's failure. Okay, this is somebody that is an actual failure and also a failure in every area of her life. While she is engaged, and it's the same with Jason Isaac Fields. This is somebody that is having sex with hundreds of people with regard to what is emptiness that resides inside of him. Somebody that does not actually like himself, doesn't like his reflection, and then would target and defame someone like myself who has done nothing to him. But he is the one that has reaped what it is that he has brought on himself. He's been sowing this. So he's been speaking lies to multitudes of people. And apparently these multitudes of people are people that he has also had sex with. I'm not interested in Jason Isaac Fields. I'm not interested in all the people that he's had sex with either. And all of your shared obsession with me, with my body, with my intellect, with my content that I've created, with my abilities, with who I am as a person, as a Christian woman. I am that, all of that unapologetically. And that's just the victory in Christ. This is not gloating. These are facts. It's just the reality of things. Who you are, and you're mad about who you are versus who I am. But who you are is obsessed with me. I am not obsessed with you. I don't even know who you are. But you know exactly who I am while you've been engaged in targeting me for years. For years. While someone like Jason Isaac Fields, who isn't even qualified to be on a phone conversation with me, and it will never happen. That is the level that you're at. That's not a compliment. Jason Isaac Fields represents a liability. He represents an embarrassment. Whatever woman gave birth to him, It's tragic. He's out here having sex with other women's mothers, and that's his effort to seek attention from the women that he wants. This is somebody that is socially dysfunctional, to put it nicely. Socially, emotionally dysfunctional, and resorts to spiritual abuse in order to garner negative attention, where it will never result and produce what is the relationship and the attention that this demon claims that he would want. I'm not interested in dealing in demons. I expose them and I prosecute them when they're gang stalking me and defaming my character. Period. All right, so I want to make sure that this is understood. This is, again, referencing not only this psychopath that's engaging in this pattern of conduct and is gloating about not suffering any consequences for it. This is someone that needs to be exposed as the delusional psychopath and the sex addict that he is. This is representing an ongoing generational curse, which is not continuing. I will never even have a conversation with Jason Isaac Fields. It's never going to happen. And that's also not anything that anyone's going to force me to do either. In the same way as you can apparently engage in domestic terrorism in the United States, abusing your government position in doing so, and avoid consequences for it while still spiritually attacking. This is something that is going to be openly exposed and advocated against while I'm exposing public corruption and all of the pitfalls of witchcraft and all the pitfalls of walking with Satan, which causes nothing other than tremendous embarrassment. Jason Isaac Fields is necessarily rejected on the world scene in public while he was publicly defaming me, publicly engaging in what is gang stalking, while amongst, again, a public full of demons who celebrate that sort of sick psychopathic conduct. Those are the demons that are obsessed with my figure. Those are the demons that are obsessed with the length of my hair. Those are the demons that are obsessed with my reflection in the mirror, which they wish that they could have. Those are the demons that are obsessed with me, while this demon that's had sex with hundreds of people is under no circumstances anybody that I would even associate with. And you're hostile about that, while you are literally on the same playing field as Jason Isaac Fields. You all are equally yoked. Jason Isaac Fields will never have any dealings with me outside of being prosecuted, period. So all this hostility, it's very much unnecessary. I'm not interested in whoever you are, and I'm certainly not interested in your sex partner, Jason Isaac Fields. It is currently 9:32 a.m. and it is Monday, April 28, 2025. This is documentation of what is federal group stalking and monitoring while the psychopath Tracy Banks exits her apartment where the fake son remains for the duration of the day, where a bunch of demons are not only gang stalking in relevant position, they are engaged in what is spiritual attacks like this demon-possessed person, Jason Isaac Fields, that has no future conversation, not even a conversation is going to be had, and this person has no actual authority or ability to speak on even my name, because I'm not stalking him and I'm not concerned with him. I'm concerned with making sure that he's exposed for gang stalking me and defaming my character and speaking on that which he has no business speaking on, while he's been trying to steal from me, while he's been obsessively consumed with having sex with people that were formerly associated with me. This psychopath needs to be exposed as the predator that he is, as the person that's engaging in what is rapist behavior, what is stalker conduct. And that is under no circumstances going to result in any sort of relationship or contact with me. It's going to be negative attention. It's going to be negative contact with authorities that will provide justice, which will necessarily include Jason Isaac Fields being arrested for stalking me. That's the only sort of contact that Jason Isaac Fields can look forward to. All of the negative attention, all of the curse that comes with Jason Isaac Fields is literally bound up, okay? In Jesus' name. None of that is, none of this liability that comes with him, all this curse work that comes with him, all this satanic attention that comes with him, none of it is welcome, and none of it is actually anything that is belonging to me. This is something that he has reaped himself, and he's going to sit and live with that for the rest of his life, with whoever he chooses to be with, whoever chooses to be with him, whatever man that he settles down with, or whatever female or whatever group of people that they settle down with in his whatever it is that this demon does with his life, it will be outside of my presence. And that results in what is forcing him by law to remain outside of my presence. And that's exactly what is going to happen. That's it. That's the reality. This is someone that has no future with me. This is someone that has no future romantic relationship with me. This is someone that is delusional. Every time that he is speaking my name regarding any sort of future, there will be nothing. His future will include actual imprisonment if he is prosecuted for stalking me after I am prosecuting the state for federal group stalking and monitoring. If this psychopath avoids being put in federal prison, which is nothing other than injustice, and then he is still stalking, he's going to be locked up, period. That's the only future that he has. This is a delusional psychopath that, as the audience that has had sex with Jason Isaac Fields and is hostile because his obsession with me has nothing to do with me, and I have no interest in this predator. This is somebody that has been defaming me and is now being openly exposed because of the stalker that he is, and because he's so obsessed. You have to publicly let a stalker know that it is a no, and it is a strong no, and it is an inevitable no. There is no route to a yes with someone that had sex with my mother under all circumstances, and no apology from someone that is not sorry, resorting to witchcraft in order to harass me and disrupt my peaceful sleep. Because Jason Isaac Fields can't sleep because he has multiple demons that torment him. And that's inherent to having sex with hundreds of people that have demonic spirits on them. This is something I will never partake in, any of this darkness. And I am openly calling it out unapologetically because I am walking away from it. I've been delivered from being in the presence of those who are tormented by demons, who are obsessed with me, because I don't share that condition, and because I have no ability. Satan can't have me. Satan also cannot use any person that's going to try to quote unquote have me. Jason Isaac Fields has no chance whatsoever. It's never, ever going to happen. And so that also needs to be known. This is somebody that has no future endeavors with me, romantically, socially, professionally. This is someone that will never be permitted in my circle. And anyone, like I said before, that is associated with Jason Isaac Fields will never have any association with me. And that is including understanding what is demonic. And so if you are associated with Jason Isaac Fields, you are likely of that same spirit. And that spirit is being bound up and permanently removed out of my life. So this is the entity that is engaging in this P.O.C. And this P.O.C. includes what is the rampant and unfortunate practice of witchcraft, which I also have to call out openly. And this is, again, rooted in what is that Jezebel spirit. Jason Isaac Fields has had sex with hundreds of people and is obsessed with the idea of having sex with me, because those hundreds of people includes Tracy Banks. So his sexual exploits with the witch has contributed to his obsessive idea, which are perverted, of sexual activity with the daughter of that witch. The daughter of this witch, Tracy Banks, I don't practice witchcraft and I don't serve Satan, and I will never be having any sort of relationship at any level, especially sexually, with this demon, Jason Isaac Fields, which would be Satan's plan for carrying on a generational curse. It is already been broken, and it's never going to happen. Jason Isaac Fields is not only, first of all, blocked because of the fact that he's had sex with Tracy Banks, let alone other people that I know. This person is disgusting. This person is also blocked because he is representing what is a spiritual curse that is no longer persisting in my bloodline. So it is, under all accounts, he is literally blocked out. He is bound up in Jesus' name. There is no way that is ever going to happen. And it's also not going to happen against my will. This is somebody that spent all night. Jason Isaac Fields, whoever's in his presence, you need to know that this is a delusional psychopath who was relying on witchcraft, who was spiritually attacking, and did not go to sleep last night while sitting up monitoring me all night, while also gloating about the fact that he is not going to prison for gang stalking me. This is somebody that would, out of his mouth, state that he is in love with me. These are demons that are using him. He is very mentally sick. This is someone that has no future outside of what is prison walls if he ever comes into contact with me, which would necessarily be outside of my will and knowledge. It is never going to actually happen. This is a sick person, and his sickness is also rooted and found in his sexual activity. This is a pervert. This is a pervert that is a threat to children. This perverted mindset is rooted in what it is that he is obsessively consumed with, and it's sex, not love. This pervert has no ability. He doesn't even love himself. This is someone that's been defaming me. This is someone that's been speaking about things that are never going to happen between myself and him. It's never going to happen. And so that needs to be made public information. So in order to correct the record, Jason Isaac Fields has been obsessed with me for all these years. Jason Isaac Fields has never had a relationship with me. He's had a relationship, a sexual one, with Tracy Banks while he was using witchcraft to engage in what is spiritually attacking me, witchcraft to engage in what is the heights of sexual activity, which is actually very perverted. It's demonic. And to resort to, I don't know what sort of man, I don't know what type of game this is, but where you're resorting to witchcraft to get only negative attention from a woman that you claim interest in case you did not know, that is a concession that you know that you have no chance, and you do not have any chance. All of the demon-possessed people are being removed from my life, and that includes, by necessity, Jason Isaac Fields, who's not actually in my life. This is someone that is maintaining, I would say, some sort of distant connection by having anal sex and sexual activity and sex rituals with Tracy Banks. That's not a relationship with me. Who Tracy Banks has sex with actually has nothing to do with me at all. Only in the mind of a sick person like Jason Fields does that make a connection, though. Okay? It doesn't. And all of their sex rituals, no voodoo, no spiritual attack, no witchcraft, no word curses are going to change the inevitable fate of Jason Isaac Fields being permanently blocked from my life and being prosecuted to the furthest extent of the law if he ever comes into contact with me. He will not be stopping who it is that I do actually marry, who will never have had any sexual contact, anal sex, any sort of sodomy, homosexual activity, sex with hundreds and hundreds of people. This perverted spirit is not going to have any sort of involvement in my future romantic relationship with my husband that was never demon possessed, that was never gang stalking me, that was never sexually involved with my mother and other fake friends that I had in my life. That's the reality of the matter. And that needs to be made public information because apparently there is an audience of people that have been misled regarding what this demon possessed person is disqualified from ever occurring. He has not reaped anything with the likes of me. He has reaped what is inevitable with regard to having sex with hundreds of people. He has reaped what is inevitable with regard to practicing witchcraft and having sex with witches and those who worship satanic spirits. That's what Jason Isaac Fields has reaped. That has nothing to do with me. He's going to sit in that reaping by himself or with his gay lover, whatever it is that he does, but it's not going to be with me. And if he avoids federal prison, he's not avoiding this inevitable sentence of being permanently blocked from my life. And also, you're getting out of my energy, Satan. You are getting out of my energy. It is currently, again, I want to make sure that that's public information, okay? Jason Isaac Fields has no romantic involvement with me, never has, and he never will. This is somebody that is in no position to speak on anything. There is nothing in reality between myself and Jason Isaac Fields, and there never will be. The only thing that will happen is that he will be prosecuted to the furthest extent of the law. And that's if he's avoiding federal prison. Apparently, this demon that's spiritually attacking me, gang stalking, engaging in domestic terrorism, and then gloating in the United States, that he's engaged in what is abusing his position with the government, gang stalking an American citizen, conspiring, in other words, to murder and kidnap someone by criminal defamation, and then is also gloating about not suffering any consequences for it. That will never have anything to do with me and my personal life in actuality. And my future husband has nothing to worry about. My future husband is no closeted homosexual, is no polyamorous sodomite, is no sexually perverted, walking, talking, inevitable Dateline story to occur. That's not what my husband, that's what Jason Isaac Fields is. That is not my future husband. Okay? And no one needs to be concerned with that. Jason Isaac Fields is listening to demons and he's repeating what those demons are telling him. He needs professional help. It is currently, again, 9:44 a.m. on April 28, 2025. And this is P.O.C. Tracy Banks is gang stalking with her sex partner, Jason Isaac Fields. They're practicing witchcraft together. They're still engaged in spiritually attacking me together. And I am subject to the same criminal system at Woodside Senior Apartments. And Tracy Banks is engaging in what is gang stalking while that psychopath paces out of her apartment, molesting. This is a sex act. Again, molesting me with engineered light in doing so. This is somebody that is, again, engaging in sexual activity with people like Jason Isaac Fields while she's obsessed with me. This is somebody that is obsessed with me, molesting me with engineered light while she walks outside of her apartment. That's how obsessed Tracy Banks is. Again, somebody that's equally irrelevant with regard to my future endeavors in my life, my future marriage, my husband that did not have sex with her, my husband that is not, again, engaged in any sodomy at any point in his life, my husband that is not under any circumstances demon possessed, would never participate in gang stalking at all. That's the reality. This is, again, these delusional people have been speaking on things that they are literally disqualified to even, or they are under no circumstances in any position to speak about the reality of who I am as a person, professionally, who I am as a woman, while they are doing nothing other than stalking and monitoring me. They're demons that are obsessed with me. And that is the reason for their speech about me, while they're speaking to what is obsession with me, because I'm not concerned about them, while they're gang stalking and monitoring me. So that is, I'll always be mindful of the speaker. What it is you hear me speaking now is correcting the record about what a bunch of cowardly, perverted, demon-possessed stalkers obsessed with me have been speaking behind my back, necessarily so. And you know why? Because they're fearful of me correcting the record like I am. Both calling demons out and calling out stalkers who wish they looked like me, who wish they made the life decisions like me, like that I did, who wish that they could carry themselves and even speak and conduct themselves as I do. But that's not my problem. And I don't even consider that a compliment from a demon. I don't consider that a compliment from somebody that I don't want any attention from, like a demon-possessed gang stalker. Okay? Very much of what is a predator. That's not a compliment to me. All of the demons are going to be forced to go live their own lives and mind their business, whatever that is. Okay? It is currently, again, 9:46 a.m. on April 28, 2025. Amplified noise inside of Tracy Banks' apartment under the fake sun with engineered light filling her apartment is the P.O.C. All right. And that's what's ongoing. And this is what Jason Isaac Fields is a part of. And this is, again, why Jason Isaac Fields and anybody with any remote idea about who I am, actually, contrary to what demons state, anybody that is has any idea about what it is my character reflects in the body of evidence, which is the P.O.C., you would already know that someone like Jason Isaac Fields and any other gang stalker has no future endeavors with me outside of me enforcing my rights against them and exposing them and embarrassing them. It's not going to be any sort of friendship. There's not going to be any sort of camaraderie. I don't know any gang stalker that. I don't owe any demon that. And this is not under any circumstances some sort of I am free and delivered, literally in Jesus' name. That doesn't mean I have to entertain any such demons, and I won't. I am far too well evolved beyond the demons that have been trying to literally confine me and financially restrain me while they've been trying to denigrate my character about my finances. I'm broke while you're gang stalking me on the job. The two don't coexist. The entity knows very well about my prospects as both a licensed attorney and beyond that. The documentation speaks to my abilities. Outside of being gang stalked by a bunch of inferior demons who are envious about the amount of talent that is in my pinky. Okay, while they are, again, stalking and obsessively consumed with me and speaking about me, and also secretly doing so because they are scared to death about me calling them out by name and embarrassing them on the world scene. But this is, again, something that the entity has reaped on itself. The entity that's engaged in what is federal group stalking and monitoring is the entity that is paying attention to my podcast and my documentation. And you are very likely a part of the huge amount of people that Jason Isaac Fields has had sex with. You can never worry to the men and women that audience entails. I am not interested in Jason Isaac Fields. I will never have any relationship with him. This is somebody that is only obsessed with me. And this is somebody that is going to be forced out of that obsession. It is currently 9:49 a.m. on April 28th, 2025. And this is indeed P.O.C. All right, this is documentation pursuant to the same pattern of conduct. This is why, again, demon-possessed Jezebel spirits like Jason Isaac Fields, who represent the agenda of the entity that engages in gang stalking in the United States pursuant to what is demonic activity, the reality of Satan, who operates through people, and there are generational lines, generational curses. This is a Jezebel spirit that's had sex with Tracy Banks and has had sex with people formerly that I associated with. And this is someone, as I document him, as I expose his rampant sexual activity, his perverted mindset, his perverted acts, his obsession with sexual activity with the witch like Tracy Banks, and then his obsession with having sex with me, who was related to Tracy Banks. And first of all, the two are not actually connected whatsoever, but nonetheless, in the mind of a pervert, in the mind of a demon-possessed person under Jezebel's spirit, there is this connection, and there is the purpose, in other words, by that demonic spirit, to maintain a generational curse. So while I'm giving this context, while I'm speaking to the reality of the demon-possessed that are obsessed with me, consumed with me and who I am, literally the evidence of a bunch of demon-possessed people stalking me supports that and proves that I don't have to make up anything. And I also don't find it a compliment that a bunch of psychopaths and sex offenders are obsessed with me, obsessed with everything about me, obsessed with the moment that I sleep, obsessed with what I'm dreaming about, obsessed with who I am and how I speak and what it is that I like to eat and how many times I blink every 60 seconds. The entity that's engaged in that pattern of conduct is the same entity that is indeed demon possessed. And this is what Jason Isaac Fields represents. This is somebody that is delusional and will not be in any position to be used by Satan to continue any sort of generational curse. Now, while I spoke about that and expounded about that, of course, the pattern of conduct continues. And so Tracy Banks immediately returns back to the apartment. Engineer light is on her ceiling. Engineer light frames the front door. The Ontario International Airport, the city of Ontario's gang stalking with the entity that enters the apartment, molesting with light. Engineer light's on her ceiling. You'll see in the images that I capture moments later, it disappears. The fake sun is over her front door, right over the top of my head, which is when the Ontario International Airport is stalking in the path, and doing so with regard to the engaging in relevant positioning, a demon that's flying a commercial plane, and admittedly so because no sky space over Woodside Senior Apartments is a part of the departure from the Ontario International Airport. This is gang stalking committed by a demon-possessed entity that is very much interested in who it is that I have sex with, who it is that I procreate with, and it's not going to be Jason Isaac Fields. And the demons that engage in this frenzied conduct as Tracy Banks hurries back home to molest with light, while to engage in what is monitoring. This is also the entity that is engaged in what is gang stalking with, again, this predator, Jason Isaac Fields, who is the same entity, who will not be having any sexual activity with me, will not be having any sort of associations with me, but nonetheless is gang stalking me in furtherance of that very demented and delusional objective. This is, again, Satan that uses abuse to gain friends. This is Satan that uses what is violence to gain followers. This doesn't work in the kingdom of God. This is what the pattern of conduct is relevant to, however. Jason Isaac Fields is gang stalking with the Ontario International Airport, gang stalking with the City of Ontario, gang stalking with Woodside Senior Apartments, gang stalking with AVANATH Capital Management in that specific environment. And while I document the absurdity that I would ever have any sort of relationship with someone that's had sex with literally hundreds of people, including the demon that you see pacing inside of her apartment with engineer light on her ceiling, the fake sun over my head at her apartment, and demons that are inside of the apartment building, including the demon in Unit 55, that is, again, in sync with the Ontario International Airport, in sync with the demon Tracy Banks and the demon Eric Corey Spencer, who's on her communication device, sharing in the elements of monitoring. All these demons listen to me document that podcast. And all those demons engage in that retaliatory act while exhibiting severe mental illness. Eric Spencer should have no concern with what his blood relative, his sister, is doing with her genitalia, but he is. He's a sex offender. He is someone that is also sexually obsessed with me because of his condition. He's demon possessed. He is gang stalking with his mother, who is also Tracy Banks, who was sexually obsessed with me, having sex with people formerly associated with me, like Jason Isaac Fields, who is sexually obsessed with me, demon possessed, and it's also gang stalking. Gang stalking with those who are also sexually obsessed with me, the demons at Woodside Senior Apartments, pacing about, which is amplified noise inside of the apartment while the Ontario International Airport flies by, and that means flies over with the sound of amplified plane activity. That's an admission to gang stalking because there are no planes taking off over Woodside Senior Apartments. There are no planes from the Ontario International Airport that would be hovering in the sky space over Woodside Senior Apartments, that are taking off over Woodside Senior Apartments, that would be at any elevation where you would hear any planes over Woodside Senior Apartments. This is the very unintelligent method of gang stalking by the city of Ontario. However, this is Paul Leon's obsession with me and my genitalia and what it is, any sexual activity that I engage in with demons like Jason Isaac Fields, which is never going to happen. But understand why the public that is demon possessed is interested in that, and it's also hostile to what I'm exposing about this demon Jason Isaac Fields, which is exposing all of the demons together because they are of that condition, and that's why they are also gang stalking. This is sexual violence of an incestuous nature, while Eric Spencer is gang stalking me, while Tracy Banks is gang stalking me, and they're doing so with the city of Ontario, and that includes AVANATH Capital Management. And so you'll see the specific environment where Tracy Banks returns, molesting with engineered light. This is a sex offense. She's doing so while I'm documenting her sex partner, Jason Isaac Fields, and speaking to the fact that no generational curse is going to continue by my association with the likes of this very heavily sexually involved demon-possessed person, Jason Isaac Fields, who is a delusional psychopath, as delusional as his sex partner that he is very sexually acquainted, very well sexually acquainted with, and that is Tracy Banks. The entity is both hostile to the reality of my exposing the fact that this demon, Tracy Banks, who's over 60 years old, who did not have, first of all, my waistline when she was even my age. She didn't have my waistline when she was in her 20s. She's never had the figure that I have. She's never had the lifestyle that I live, meaning the accomplishments that I've already had, literally graduating from high school and being a virgin, being a good girl, being someone that generates attention and not doing it on my back, collecting lint on mattresses with a whole bunch of people that I have sex with. This is what this witchcraft practicing demon, Tracy Banks, relies on. And this is something that even her son, who knows that she has sex with a population of people as a part of her spiritual practices, this is something that they agree in while they're gang stalking their relative, that is myself, together. This is, again, the sexual perverted aspect with regard to the cult, where all these demons are together engaging in what is this witchcraft system of federal group stalking and monitoring it. And sexual activity is built into it. So understand why I'm always referencing the perverts that engage in sex rituals, that engage in sodomy, that engage in group sex, that engage in what is incestuous, while they're monitoring my genitalia with all the elderly people pacing around like the psychopaths they are in the apartment building, while Tracy Banks returns to the apartment just to engage in the P.O.C. with Eric Spencer, with Jason Isaac Fields, with AVANATH Capital Management, with the city of Ontario, and that's captured in the evidence. It's relevant to what I documented, referring to the sex offender that will never have any conversation, will never have any physical encounter, never have any contact with me, and gang stalking me to intimidate, to harass, to psychologically torture is also not going to result in that. It's going to result in what is Jason Isaac Fields being federally restrained with laws in order to make sure that he stays out of my, stays away from me and has no contact with me, because his mental illness, which is speaking to the federal group stalking and monitoring that he is engaging in, is evidence of his mental illness, where he is also sexually obsessed with me regarding things that are never going to happen and that which he cannot force me to engage in. And it needs to be known that he has spoken a lot of lies about me, and this is what he's been doing, gang stalking me for years, gang stalking me and engaging in what is sexual activity with this person who is also mentally ill, Tracy Banks, who is also obsessed with me, consumed with who I procreate with. And that's because Satan is concerned with maintaining a generational curse, and it's not going to happen. And using gang stalking as a means to do that was just nothing other than foolish. And it's also relevant with regard to prosecuting public corruption. This is why terrorists like Jason Isaac Fields should be in federal prison and should lose their job in law enforcement, because you have what is gang stalking underway by a bunch of terrorists who are acting with impunity, who have no fear of actual consequences, because it's the state that's acting. The state that's interested in who it is that I procreate with, who I will be procreating with, will have nothing to do with any person that Tracy Banks ever placed her infected genitalia on. And it's the same within this walking, talking STD, Jason Isaac Fields. This person that is literally an STD threat, having sex with hundreds of people, and wants to maintain a generational curse by linking himself to me. And the two of us are nothing alike. This is literally light and darkness, which have nothing in common. Literally nothing in common. The only thing that we have in common, which should not be the case, is that Tracy Banks gave birth to me. So I came out of the birth canal, and Jason Isaac Fields has been inside of her birth canal, swimming inside of her, which is actually perverted and nauseating information that I could have gone without knowing. But it's important that I know it in order to make sure that every demon is exiled out of my life permanently. And that includes the pervert who was gang stalking and harassing and psychologically torturing me through his co-defendants, the state of California, the city of Ontario, AVANATH Capital Management, literally the city of Ontario, and Eric Corey Spencer, who was on Tracy's phone during the time where you'll see the images of the specific environment. She calls him and puts him on speakerphone while she's pacing inside of the apartment, while the demon in Unit 55 is pacing inside of the apartment. This is what all of the demons in Units 33 through 64 share in with regard to what is justice requiring prison and mental asylums. This is in the specific environment, it's state action, and it's relevant to what I'm documenting while the entity engages in what is monitoring that evidence about itself, and also engaging what is obstruction of justice while criminally interfering with quiet enjoyment. Gang stalking through the airport, gang stalking with amplified noise inside of the apartment, gang stalking with impossible light activity. While the fake sun is over Tracy Banks' apartment, it's 11:11 a.m. and the sunrise that's at this apartment at 7:21 in the morning will never include the sun being over my head like I captured at 10:30 in the morning, and like what remains at Tracy Banks' apartment as of 11 o'clock in the morning right now. I'm going to capture that. This is where Linda Reyes is gang stalking. This is also, again, another sex offender that's interested based on her condition. You have strangers that serve Satan that are interested in accomplishing Satan's purposes, which is to maintain generational curses, which are stopping with me. It's not going to happen. And Satan's tactic, which is very foolish and self-destructive, is the fact that he's out of any sort of person that has any place, any chance of maintaining any sort of presence in my life. Jason Isaac Fields is an obvious eliminated factor. He's literally a non-factor. He is entirely irrelevant, and gang stalking me was the last desperate resort to try to find some way to be back in my life, and it's not happening. He is only relevant with regard to prosecuting, identifying every terrorist, every threat, and every sex offender that is in need of what are orders to maintain no contact, because that obsession is a threat. And I am enforcing my rights to that end. It is currently 11:12 a.m. You will see the images of the engineer light on Tracy Banks' apartment. This is the apartment where she's pacing, and the Ontario International Airport is pacing as well, gang stalking with all the defendants at Woodside Senior Apartment, specifically in Units 33 through 64, who are subject to prison and mental asylums. And as hundreds of images are captured to the Google Drive, which you will see, this is where the entity, as I'm uploading the podcast, as I'm uploading the video onto YouTube, this is where the demons engage in this frenzied, psychotic pattern of conduct with regard to monitoring that evidence that they're hostile to. And it's occurring under the fake sun and an engineered light, where the sun is not going to be in LA, contrary to what I'm also documenting at this time of year, including at the same time. It's 11:13 a.m. This is P.O.C. Okay, the light activity that you see on framing the front door, that you see on the ceiling inside of Tracy Banks' apartment, that you see piercing through the peephole, has absolutely nothing to do with the fake sun that just sits over the apartment building, where a bunch of demon-possessed people are engaging in the state system of gang stalking in the city of Ontario and the state of California. It's demonic, and that demonic environment is literally separate. The fake sun is nothing other than a prop in the sky that sits over the apartment building where I'm being gang stalked all day long. And it is where the maintenance of amplified noise levels are maintained with regard to monitoring my every physical movement, monitoring my internet activity, monitoring my device usage. And this is where demons hurry back home, like Tracy Banks did in that specific environment, calling demons like the defendant Eric Corey Spencer. This is a sex offender that is a pervert, monitoring the genitalia of his blood relative, his sister, gang stalking her while she is exposing the fact that a bunch of sex offenders are obsessed with me, obsessed with my image, obsessed with the person that I am, obsessed with how it is that I've lived my life, contrary to how a bunch of obsessed inferior demons are who are both gang stalking and like cowards speaking in a denigrating manner about my character behind my back, while fearful of the fact that I speak the truth and I correct the record. And I also expose all those who were speaking about me did so secretively, while also being obsessed and gang stalking me the entire time. These are demons that are delusional in their mind. They literally are, I would say, Looney Tune crazy in their minds. And by Looney Tune crazy, it's not the type of crazy where you don't know what you're doing and you can't. This is the type of crazy that is absolutely delusional, meaning life is one way, circumstances and facts and information is one way, and a crazy person that's a psychopath tells himself that it's another, deceives himself about reality, engages in very harmful conduct to other people that they're envious of, that they literally want to be that person while they speak in a denigrating manner about that person. That's what the demon possessed have been doing for years, and it includes this predator, Jason Isaac Fields, who has had sex with hundreds of people and is interested and is obsessed with the notion of having sex with me after having sex with the witch Tracy Banks, that is, again, engaging in what is federal group stalking and monitoring, because I'm calling out her sex partner that is engaging in that P.O.C. with her still to date. So that includes the city of Ontario. That includes the people of the state, where you're looking at sunlight that's, again, not the product of sunlight that would come from the sun. So for purposes of using words and conveying ideas that you understand, this, what appears to be sunlight, is actually not sunlight when I show you what it is on the inside of the apartment. The light that's on the ceiling that has the shadow of my hand in it, that's just shooting through the air, and the shadow of my hand is appearing above my head on the ceiling, that's not sunlight. Neither is that sunlight that's covering everything outside. Neither is that the sun, as you've seen the sun rise at 7:21 a.m. at this same apartment, and you've seen the sun set at 6:18 p.m. at this same exact address. That fake sun doesn't go anywhere. And it's not sunlight. It's a very poor staging where federal group stalking and monitoring by the demon possessed, who are violent sex offenders, and are failing at controlling what it is that I will do in my life. And it will never include procreating or any sort of even association or contact with this predator, with this demon that relies on the use of witchcraft to generate nothing other than negative attention from what is Jason Isaac Fields, that can under no circumstances even be qualified to stand next to me, let alone have any association with me. It's never going to happen. And where you find yourself engaging in sodomy with Tracy Banks, engaging in what is oral sex with Tracy Banks, group sex with Tracy Banks, gay sex with all the boys and girls, that all the perverted things that the demon possessed have engaged in together, while they're all been worshiping me, worshiping my image. This is what these demons do while they're also gang stalking. This is the same entity that has no chances whatsoever of having any actual relationship with me. It's only in their minds, where they are all entertaining demons that have been lying to them, the demons that make them, that tell them that they're normal, when they pace around like the psychopaths, very mentally unstable psychopaths. They just committed that all together. The Ontario International Airport, Tracy Banks and Eric Spencer on via communication devices inside of the apartment, and all the old people inside of the apartment building together, while they were doing so, monitoring the evidence and also monitoring me. Every time I speak the truth, the demons begin manifesting, and that is relevant to the evidence that you'll see uploaded in the images. It's also relevant to the demon-possessed predator, with a body count that is at least exceeding 250 people easy. This person is a sick person. He's had sex with hundreds of people. And this embarrassing person, whoever gave birth to him, should be embarrassed, whoever you are. He has serious issues, and it is manifesting in his sexual activity, the way he lives his life. He had sex with my mother and is obsessively consumed with something that is never going to happen, having sex with the daughter of somebody who's a witch. I'm not a witch. I don't practice witchcraft. I clearly call demons out, like whoever is the person that gave birth for this curse. That is Jason Isaac Fields, and it's unfortunate because he needs to repent and come to Christ Jesus. He's embarrassed himself, and the demon possessed have embarrassed themselves, and so has the government, while it is consumed and obsessed with my genitalia and concerned with who I procreate with. And it will never be any demons, the likes of any predator like Alan D. Wapner gang stalking me with the planes of the Ontario International Airport, because the demons are hostile, because I will never even associate with the likes of this life-size cockroach that has sex with anything with legs that can spread apart like Jason Isaac Fields. He is a disgusting creature. I cannot stress that enough. I am literally disgusted, not only with the criminal conduct, but with the demented mind state of those that are engaging in that criminal conduct. And the ongoing objective is nothing other than obsession and an ongoing failed endeavor to try to control the life of an absolutely free person. I'm free in Christ, and I'm also free in these United States, regardless of the justice, that the measure of justice that I actually get. None of them are controlling my genitalia. None of them are controlling the decisions that I'm going to make. And the decision includes plucking out every single demon. And that will include, at the very least, Eric Spencer, Tracy Lemire Banks, and Jason Isaac Fields, these sex offenders that are together failing in their endeavor to denigrate my character, while each and every one of them wish that they would have made the decisions that I made, and wish that they could be half of the person that I am. And who I am is attributed to who Christ is. That's why demon possession doesn't affect me. That's why I don't have the reputation of a promiscuous whore. That's why I don't have a body count that's exceeding 250 people. Nothing close, not even a percentage of that. And I'm laughing not because it's funny. I'm laughing because it's so ridiculously absurd. If you are not aware that your mental instability is directly relevant to what you do with your genitalia. Okay. The entity is gang stalking with knowledge of everything that I'm publishing on the internet about it. That's why Alan D. WAPNER, the president of the Ontario International Airport, who was very much aware of gang stalking with commercial planes over the senior citizen complex that has a sun rising and setting at that apartment. And the demons manifest and get into a frenzy when I expose their sexual activity, which is entirely perverted, and their sexual activity, which is centered on obsession with me, the one that they cannot control. Okay, it is currently 11:23 a.m. This evidence of the P.O.C. is included and uploaded to the Google Drive, and also the podcast is being published, and this is relevant to prosecuting the people of the state that are gang stalking via communication devices like Eric Corey Spencer is. Today his license is JABO. This demon is in Oakland, California, gang stalking with a mother, gang stalking his sister. It's entirely pathetic. He should consume himself with controlling his weight. He should control himself with perhaps marrying the female that he shacked up with. He should concern with himself with being a man that's not relying on government assistance to pay his rent at his big age. Instead of hating on myself because I went to college and I went to law school and I did that. It didn't take me 15 years to do it. It took him until his mid-30s to graduate from a community college. This is the likes of those that are targeting me and denigrating my character behind my back because they're envious. Because it didn't take me 10 years to graduate from a community college just to transfer and get my BA. This ongoing celebration of failures and celebration of mediocrity. There are a bunch of demons who are envious and who are actually broke. Because but for federal group stalking and monitoring, these demons wouldn't even be in the same zip code. All right. So the entity is engaging what is targeting with regard to what is an intent to try to restrain in every regard. And I'm going to prosecute for that as well. It needs to be known that the entity is gang stalking with regard to Satan's objective. Satan doesn't actually care about how much money you make. Satan doesn't actually care about what car you drive or where you live. Satan's concerned about maintaining what are things like generational curses so that he can reign in the bloodline and maintain what is an ability to control people. And that's not working. The curse stops with me. I will not be entertaining demons. I will continuously embarrass them like this overweight, incestuous sex offender, Eric Spencer, who calls his gang stalking, demon possessed, sex offending mother to target me together. This is how pathetic this is not a family. Okay, who is my mother and brother but he who does the will of my Father. These demons are gang stalking together and they are obsessed with who it is that I have sex with. It will never include this predator that had sex with this walking infection, Tracy Banks. It's never going to be that. Ever. It's never going to be that. I'm going to prosecute. I'm going to call Satan out, every demon-possessed person that Satan has been using and has been controlling their genitalia. They're very much under the control of Satan's spirit, but it's not me. And they will never connect with me, not physically, not in a conversation, not spiritually, and certainly not sexually. It's never going to happen. Period. It is never going to happen. The entity is monitoring on my device, and this is something that Jason Isaac Fields is not only engaged in, he's interested in, while I am referencing him specifically in the same way that he's been referencing me and denigrating my character while this person doesn't even know me and hasn't had any conversation. We're not friends. He's literally a stranger while he is engaged in what is anal sex with Tracy Banks, my mother, who's secretly gang stalking me with him for years. These two clowns. These two life flunkies are engaged in gang stalking me and engaged in what is the most foolish thing. Oh, we're going to gang stalk her into being with Jason and then she's going to fall in love with him. No, none of that is going. These high school graduates, these life flunkies, these failures in life, okay, are engaging in what is a tremendous project that's an outright failure, and it's an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment to the kingdom of darkness. And that is one of many reasons why Jason Isaac Fields has to engage in what is witchcraft to get attention from a woman. It's pathetic, and that's not a man. But you also know that this is somebody that actually likes men. He's interested in men. He likes gay sex. He engages in sexual activity with anyone, and so that's where women come into play. But this is actually a homosexual. And that's also speaking to his irrational animosity toward me, defaming me for no reason whatsoever. And I first of all, I never did anything to him. and I'm not romantically interested in him, so what? A man can, a real man moves on with their life, okay? We're in 2025. Jason Isaac Fields is an irrelevant factor. He's only relevant with regard to prosecuting every gang stalker whose name I know. That's it. Other than that, he's been having embarrassing sex rituals with Tracy Banks, somebody that's over 60. He's been having sex basically with his mother. Okay. And this is somebody that has serious mental issues that will never have any actual voluntary reciprocated relationship with me. It's never going to happen. And the demons that are pacing around like psychopaths with him are monitoring me while I'm exposing the fact that this walking, talking, literal STD threat is somebody that has no actual relation to me, has literally been gang stalking me and is obsessed with me. It's a one-sided affair. This person is obsessed with me while I've been living my life, and living my life has been documenting the targeting system that I remain subject to. And it's ongoing at Woodside Senior Apartments. This is why Jason Isaac Fields should be removed permanently from law enforcement and belongs in federal prison, if not a mental asylum. If justice is anything less than that, then that is also something that I will be speaking about in real time and advocating. Because I was supposed to be dead. And the entity that failed in murder is now avoiding federal prison? That's absurd. That's absurd. But so is the system of federal group stalking and monitoring that the government is maintaining. It's absurd that Alan D. WAPNER is using commercial planes to stalk one little old person. And that is reality. That's why the sun is over this apartment door. That's why the sun is rising and setting while I remain inside of this apartment. That's why a large strip of that which is not sunlight and it's not reflecting and bouncing off of anything inside of this apartment is sitting on the defendant, the sex offender Tracy Banks' ceiling, while I'm referencing her sex partner, her demon-possessed co-defendant and co-conspirator, Jason Isaac Fields, who actually has no future with me other than being embarrassed like every other gang stalker. Every other person that is very mentally imbalanced and needs professional help and needs Christ Jesus first and foremost. It is never, ever, ever, like In Vogue said, it's never, ever, ever going to happen. It's never going to happen. All right, I can't stress that enough. I'm going to prosecute based on this ongoing harassment. The demon in unit number 55 is pacing in sync with Tracy Banks and Eric Spencer, who's on her phone when she's inside of the apartment. The engineer light on the ceiling is present and disappearing. That has nothing to do with sunlight or reflection or the presence of the fake sun. It's literally the way in which you are aware of demonic spirits. So it's referencing the demonic spirit that is present inside of Tracy Banks' apartment, the demonic presence with regard to monitoring by the demon possessed who are stalking with amplified noise. And that includes the Ontario International Airport and also stalking in the path. You have a whole government operation while Woodside Senior Apartments is engaging in that. You will see Daryl J. Carter because Daryl J. Carter, the CEO and chairman of AVANATH Capital Management, a gang stalking property management company, is inextricably linked to this ongoing documentation of psychological torture and domestic terrorism. That sex offenders, that corrupt actors like Jason Isaac Fields, who is convinced that he has no consequences to suffer for this. And I directly object to that. And that is something that will be addressed with regard to the government's engagement in what is federal group stalking and monitoring at any place in the United States. Moreover, as I'm exposing it in the state of California, it is currently 11:31 a.m. where the fake sun is present and where you will see my pointing out all the defendants who are subject to what is federal prison for this gang stalking, and also showing you what is their obsession. This is the same audience that's obsessed with who it is that I procreate with. And you need to understand how important you are with regard to Christ Jesus, literally the Lord God himself dying for your sins. That's how important you are, that Satan would use millions and millions of people to keep his eye on you, to try to control the circumstances in your life, to try to confuse you about who you are and your self-worth. This is how important what's happening to me, what I'm exposing about what Satan is doing, which is a failed effort, and it's embarrassing to all of the demons together. You have strangers that are interested in monitoring me because of the fact that I will never have sex with another demonic person. I'm never going to marry anybody. I'm not having kids with any of these demons. And Satan is very much bothered by that. That is literally why strangers are stalking. This is entirely pathetic when you think about that. That's very pathetic on a human being level. But with regard to the reality of the spiritual realm, This is the reality of the importance of life and what you are. You are a very valuable soul, and it matters what you choose to do with your soul. Whether you give your soul, which belongs to God who created you, or whether you don't accept that, don't know that, don't realize that, and you live your life as though you are worthless, and you are doing that when you are doing anything less than walking with Christ Jesus as your Lord and Savior, who is able to cover you and save you and shelter you from the wiles of the devil, who will go to the extent to use millions and millions of people to try to target you, just to try to control the most minute decisions, such as who you marry and who you have kids with, because he wants control of your family. He wants control of the generations that come after you. And Satan has lost. He lost. He made a tremendous bet and he lost. And it's the embarrassment of sex offenders like Eric Spencer, like Tracy Banks, like Jason Isaac Fields, like Paul Leon, like the demons gang stalking at Woodside Senior Apartments, like the people of the state of California monitoring genitalia in a bathroom, my genitalia. Everything that I do is the focal point of the demon possessed, because Satan is stalking and monitoring, trying, wanting to, but failing at, and cannot, actually has no authority to control any of the circumstances in my life. These demons are literally beneath me. I am actually evolved beyond these circumstances, which the Lord God is delivering me from. And no gang stalking system is going to cause me or force me or intimidate, which is not how you fall in love or enter into any relationship. And it's only the buffoons that are engaging in it that think that I would not know better than that. That even if I don't have every bit of detail, which I don't need that to know that Jason Isaac Fields is an absolute outright no, never, not ever going to happen. Ever. You only have to try to kill me one time. You only have to be inside of my mother's vagina one time. And I'm putting in those explicit terms because that's how disgusting this predator with this perverted mindset is, to even think that I would have a conversation with him when he has had sex with essentially his mother, somebody that is, again, emotionally and mentally dysfunctional. Okay, this is somebody that will never have any future prospects with me. And the entity that is gang stalking and monitoring me is doing so in a failed endeavor to try to keep me from what is ever meeting my future husband, from being in any sort of circumstance where I could be free from these demons that are stalking. And it's literally a horror flick, but it's real life. It's not a movie. But it doesn't matter, because it's all going to come to nothing. No weapon that is formed against me, a child of God, is actually going to prosper. So you're witnessing the ongoing desperate acts of a bunch of demons, which is a testament to how Satan is not all-knowing and not all-powerful. He is not omnipotent. He is not. Using all of this and all of this effort, and he still loses. And no person, we can come out of the spiritual talk now, because the reality is no person that ever engaged in gang stalking me is any buddy of mine. It is never going to happen. Ever, under any circumstances. These demons are projecting their lack of self-love, their lack of control with their genitalia, their inability to make to engage in critical thinking, common sense decision making, and any wisdom and prudence with regard to the decisions that they make in their life, with regard to who you have in your life. The entity was gang stalking me and targeting me while acting like they love me and like me. I would never entertain somebody that is telling me to my face that they don't like me. I'm no fool. The entity had to do this behind my back. You had to do this behind my back. And now they are very much bothered because of the fact that I'm correcting the record. The entity that's been denigrating me behind my back, they wish they had my waistline. They wish they had my face. They wish they had hair, natural hair. They wish that they looked and conducted themselves like me. They wish they were me. Literally, these are demon-possessed people. They wish that they could take my skin and put it on their body. They wish they could take my voice box and put it in their throat. They wish that they could reduce their body count and replace it with mine. They literally wish that they could be me. They want my pores. They want everything. They want my fingerprints. They want my nail beds. They want the follicles of my hair. That's how obsessed these demons are, including Tracy Banks. Okay, Jason Isaac Fields is, again, a mentally unstable gang stalker who was targeting me and harassing and psychologically torturing me while spiritually attacking me with all the demons that just engaged in that iteration of the P.O.C. while I'm publishing the evidence. And it is the ongoing desperate endeavor that is nonetheless a failure. Failure. This is a public service announcement. Jason Isaac Fields has no future with me. This person is so desperate and pathetic and demonic. If he does not repent, he's going to burn in hell. Good luck with that. I hope you come to your senses and repent before it's too late. But this person has no future with me. Do not be deceived by what Satan has been stating behind my back, unbeknownst to me, while I've been busy documenting and enforcing my rights and proving the reality of what Satan is doing to other people in this country where they're ignorant about it. And has been this demon that is under no circumstances even in any position to show love to another person. This person is not only demon possessed, this person is filled with demonic spirits, and this person is very mentally unstable. Very mentally unstable. And his sex partners, the hundreds that they are, is evidence of it. Very emotionally unstable and resorting to spiritual abuse, such as using witchcraft to get nothing other than negative attention from someone that will never, under any circumstances, even have a conversation. I will never entertain the likes of Jason Isaac Fields. It will never actually happen. The entity that is hostile to that hurried up and entered the apartment, gang stalking and monitoring with regard to hostility to it and hostility to the truth that I speak about, how they are all whores that wish that they could decrease the amount of people that they've had sex with when they are always comparing themselves to me, comparing themselves to how I look versus how they look, comparing their waistline to mine, projecting their insecurities, in other words, onto me. I don't have to go down the list regarding how I treasure natural beauty, which I very much have, and I know that. The entity that is engaging in what is putting on a mask every day, not only your multiple personalities is a mask, the fact that you're a demon-possessed gang stalker is a mask, the fact that you hate yourself is a mask. You are literally wearing a mask. All that makeup you put on, that wig and those lashes, all of that. The BBL, the breast implants, okay, the everything that you're doing with regard to moving fatter, it's all a mask. In addition to what's mostly important, you're a whole demon. You don't even like yourself. While you are focused and obsessed with me, you're going to be forced to get your own life and mind your own business. You're going to be forced to. And I'm openly exposing you because of your disdain for doing that, for minding your own business. But you need to understand that this is what Satan is all about, minding your business. Those of you who are listening and witnessing me expose Satan and embarrass him. This is what Satan is about, minding your business. And he uses people to do it. People that want to simultaneously, while they're obsessed with you, would like to exude the lie, that's their mask, that you are something less than who literally they want to be. They want to wear your skin while they want to speak. That's nothing other than witchcraft. Speaking word curses. This is, again, the demon possessed, and it only works on them because they're all in darkness. It doesn't work against me. I am still a natural beauty. I don't have to I don't wear any mask of any sorts whatsoever, and I literally don't have to put any mask on my face. My hair is natural. My nails are natural. My body is natural, and it's naturally beautiful as well. Like, literally. I'm not like these demons out here that just tell themselves that they're one thing and they're not even that. And that's why Satan is so bothered by me. And I want to be clear, demons like Jason Isaac Fields, who has had sex with hundreds of people of that condition that he shares, that they hate themselves, and that's why they live the lives that they live, they live the lives that they live in the way that they live it. And they also are hostile to people like me. And I'm not out here pointing my finger at them, sleeping around with every Tom, Dick, and Harry. I'm not out there pointing my finger at them because they literally put on a mask before they go out the house. I'm not pointing my finger at them because they wear wigs and whatever it is that you wear to make yourself feel like you look presentable. I'm minding my business. They're minding my business. That's the problem. So when you want to mind my business and you want to gang stalk me, now you've made yourself an embarrassment. I will expose you. I will drag you for the wig wearing, mask wearing, hundreds of people that you've been having sex with, the pathetic life flunky that you are. You've embarrassed yourself. This is not me. You are the one that conjured that up yourself. It's called a return to sender. And I don't have to make up information about you. People know, and you know what it is, how you live your life. When you think no one is watching and when God himself is watching. I don't have to make up information about the demons that are obsessed with me and who want to be me. I don't have to make it up. And this demon, Jason Isaac Fields, is gang stalking with a bunch of demons that were pacing around in planes. They're pacing around at the apartment complex while I'm publishing information about why he should be embarrassed because I'm publicly rejecting him in the same way that he's been obsessively
gang stalking me and defaming me, while literally this is somebody with mommy issues that can't handle rejection, because I don't want him. And why would I want him? We are totally, literally, like light and darkness, total opposites. He's had sex with hundreds of, you're never going to touch me. You creep me out. The thought of you makes my skin crawl. And I have to speak in such explicit terms because you don't play around with crazy people. You don't play around with stalkers. It is a no, and it is an unequivocal no, an unambiguous no, and it will never change from that. And it is an inevitable no when you have had anal sex with my mother, when you've had group sex and sex rituals, tantric sex, all sorts of perverted sex acts with my mother. That's an obvious no. Somebody that is mentally unstable is incapable of appreciating that. And so in the same way that they were publicly gang stalking me and denigrating my character behind my back, I'm going to publicly expose and correct the record about those who have always been obsessed with me while they want to be me and they want to be with me. And the feeling is not mutual. And that's the reality of a lot of the motives, the very petty. This pettiness has risen to an inhumane level, an unfathomable level of what is now gang stalking somebody because you can't control me. And you're not going to control me. It is currently 11:43 a.m. The fake son remains at Woodside Senior Apartments, where Daryl J. Carter is being prosecuted for stalking an occupant at Woodside Senior Apartments inside of the apartment complex. Daryl J. Carter, which is representing AVANATH Capital Management, and the city of Ontario is stalking a woman in violation of the Violence Against Women Act as well, while gang stalking is underway. And the occupants at Woodside Senior Apartments are being prosecuted for stalking a woman in violation of the Violence Against Women Act, while they're doing so with engineer light under the fake sun that remains all day long, and in concert with the government that is acting through the civilian population that does nothing other than engage in the elements of monitoring in that specific environment. That's all they're doing is gang stalking. That's why light is on the ceiling inside of Tracy Banks' apartment, framing the front door, and a fake sun is remaining over her apartment all day long, where she resorts to calling this sex offender, this life flunky, this overweight government recipient, Eric Spencer, who needs to get his own life together. Pathetic as a male. I can't say a man. No man is gang stalking another woman. No man is gang stalking and relying on witchcraft to target another woman. This is pathetic. This is the person that's gang stalking as well. He is stalking in violation of the Violence Against Women Act, using a communication device as engagement in the same P.O.C. All right, it's currently 11:44 a.m. Woodside Senior Apartments is obsessively engaged in that P.O.C. They represent the people of the state, acting with impunity and acting with the intent to obstruct justice, while I'm exposing those who are obsessed with me and who will never have any actual relationship or contact with me, outside of what will be enforcing my rights to prosecute such stalkers like Jason Isaac Fields, who have been disqualified from even being in my social circle, meaning I would never even voluntarily converse with this person. We would never be in the same social circle. This is someone that I would never spend any time with. This is someone that will never be in any sort of relationship with me. It will always be the fact that he is stalking and obsessed with me. He is defaming me behind my back, while he is actually the one that is obsessed with me. It's only one-sided. He's the one that had sex with my mom that actually is no connection with me. She's a whore. He's a whore. That's what whores do. It has nothing to do with me. Okay? It is currently 11:45 a.m. and this is POC documentation of what is monitoring now while I'm publishing all that evidence online. And I will be adding this onto the podcast where the entity is still gang stalking. This is where you're understanding strangers like the demon in unit number 55, license 5WB715, who is very much interested in the details regarding my personal life. That's what gang stalking is about. This demon is inspired with regard to monitoring me with the hostile demons who I know by name, like Jason Isaac Fields, who I'm never going to associate with, like Tracy Banks, who I'm calling out as the whore that uses witchcraft. Okay, that's the truth. And her gang stalking loser son, who literally relies on the sexual activity of his mother to probably pay his rent, to support himself, gang stalking on government assistance. This is how this adult male, Eric Spencer, is supporting himself. This is not a man. This is not a man, but this is somebody that's blood related to me. He's engaged in the pattern of conduct, and so he's going to be called out as well. He went to the extent to calling Tracy on the phone to participate in the POC while I'm calling out all these losers, these life flunkies who have been targeting me for life while they literally want to be me and wish that they could steal my life's accomplishments. You can't do that either. Okay, Satan is being plucked out in every corner. These demons. These are the demon possessed. Satan is using these people, and they're all being removed.
all of them. And that generational curse is not continuing with the likes of some loser like Jason Isaac Fields, who has literally laid with in every dumpster that you can jump into in order to find sex partners. This person is never going to even have a conversation. We're never going to have tea. It's never going to happen. I could not be any more clearer than that. Neither is it going to happen against my will. This demon is resorting to witchcraft to try to force it, is monitoring in the spirit to try to harass, which is, again, impossible. But this is, again, what they're doing, trying to harass a woman into some sort of voluntary relationship. This is not some sort of abusive relationship, some sort of prison yard where you're being forced into sexual activity with another man. This person is very dysfunctional in his mind. He's engaging in resorting to spiritual abuse, and it's not going to happen. So this sick person, Jason Isaac Fields, is, again, not even a prospect, and every lying word that he has uttered about me and my character, this is part of what he is reaping. This is something that he was doing like a coward behind my back, and I am openly not only prosecuting and documenting the P.O.C. that he is a part of, that he's been engaged in while doing that. And this is someone that is under no circumstances even qualified to be in my circle. And it's as simple as that. And that is known because you were always paying attention to the speaker. The entity is the one that was speaking on me first while you're obsessed with me. I am now correcting the record about those that had no business speaking about me in the first place. And by the way, they want to be me. By the way, they wish that they could be next to me, and it's never going to happen. You have permanently disqualified yourself. Because light and darkness have nothing in common. And not only that, that scripture, in addition to that, no gang stalking terrorist, no sex offender is ever going to be friends with me. And I don't need an apology. You're all forgiven. You all need Jesus. I wish you the best of that. But I'm prosecuting, and I will be calling you out. Psychopaths pacing around monitoring this evidence about them is exposing, again, that's the same speaker that's been behind my back like cowards, denigrating my character, and then they pace around like the psychopaths that they are while I publish the evidence about them. These are the wannabes. These are the life flunkies. These are the cowards. These are the sex offenders. They're the creepers, the weirdos, the stalkers. They are the stalkers. And Erica Lorraine Spencer will never have anything to do with them, aware of who they all are and what they've been doing this whole time, being envious instead of getting your own life, minding your own business. It's a whole issue with the government. Prosecuting the government because it can't mind its own business. That's an embarrassing shame. And it is the prosecution of the state of California. It's 11:49 a.m. It's Monday, April 28, 2025, and this is P.O.C. All right, the following video is ongoing documentation about the gang stalking that sex offenders and government recipients like Eric Corey Spencer, somebody that goes out of his way to gang stalk his relative, that is myself. This is a demon-possessed person that's sexually obsessed with me and consumed with who it is that I will never be procreating, which is a demon like Jason Isaac Fields, who's gang stalking with Tracy Banks and Eric Spencer, who are monitoring me together under the 10:30 and 11:50 a.m. fake sun that's still over the same apartment complex, like you can see on video, as I'm documenting it over 6 hours later, where it's still over the same apartment, like I've already shown. The fake sun doesn't go anywhere. And Tracy Banks is a psychopath who is demon-possessed and molests with engineer light to monitor as she paces in and out like a demon. It's currently 5:28 p.m. This is P.O.C. at AVANATH Capital Management Woodside Senior Apartment, speaking to what the employees are doing, just like the residents are doing, just like the city of Ontario is doing, in a specific environment that defies nature. Okay, the sun does not rise and set at one apartment complex, but it does when you're a bunch of demons who are stalking one person, monitoring one person. That's what demons do. This is P.O.C. Erica Lorraine Spencer here. The following is an audio version of video evidence that is captured for purposes of mass distribution, which is why I am capturing it and sharing it on the podcast for evidentiary purposes, and also to reveal the wealth of documentation that extends beyond what it is that I document on podcasts. Much of the video and images will be published onto the YouTube channel, the P.O.C., and it is also shared on the Google Drive. Again, this is for purposes of revealing what I remain subject to, which is federal group stalking and monitoring. It is a demonic system of state surveillance that the government is practicing in concert with the people of the state. And it should be known and well understood that for the government to engage in federal group stalking and monitoring,
This is a crime that is committed with a criminal purpose to threaten the life of an American citizen. This is to conspire to murder and or permanently kidnap an American citizen while engaging in a perpetual sex offense in concert with the people of the state.
This is the same pattern of conduct that's happening on a cloudy morning at 7 a.m., opening up the front door in order that which is not sunlight, it's engineered light above the front door, and filling the inside of the apartment while a demon is monitoring. That's on the ceiling, that's not sunlight. And the sun that's over me in Los Angeles at the same time of year where LAPD is gang stalking, like the city of Ontario and the people of the state of in Ontario, including at Woodside, are gang stalking where her shadow is appearing behind her. This is monitoring by the people of the state that are demon possessed. Under the fake sun that's still over her apartment, and that engineered light still frames the front door. This is a psychopath that is obsessed with me, is sexually molesting with engineered light, and is consumed with everything I do, including while this demon uses witchcraft to spiritually stalk and monitor with a bunch of the demons that are gang stalking with her under a fake sun. This is a means of pacing in and out, doing so, which has nothing to do with sunlight, and it's still here like I documented at 11 o'clock in the morning, and none of that is sunlight either. These demons are pacing together under a remaining fake sun. This is P.O.C. This is Tracy Banks doing the same thing at 7 in the morning with engineer light. Okay, what you just saw with engineer light that's above the front door, that's light manifesting from shade. This is shade. You've got light manifesting here, that's P.O.C. Okay, the entity is stalking with light, and so is Tracy. These are demons, one after another. That's the demon from unit number 59, gang stalking. They're pacing one after another with Tracy Banks, license 9HUZ740. That's P.O.C. Look at the fake sun while a gang stalking mother monitors her own child. Right? I'm a grown child, but I'm prosecuting this demon. She's a violent sex offender, and she's engaged in criminal facilitation, monitoring my genitalia with all these other defendants, gang stalking under a fake sun that rises at 7:21 a.m. and sets at 6:18 p.m. This is P.O.C. It is currently 5:24 p.m. Not only is the analysis regarding stalking under a fake sun and a demon that derives pleasure from repeating the same very heavily documented P.O.C. of molesting with impossible light activity as she walks in and out of an apartment where the fake sun rises and sets, and that which is not even sunlight remains inside of her apartment, where a bunch of demons are pacing around monitoring with her. Okay, this is the same demon you gang stalking under the fake sun at 9 o'clock in the morning. She's monitoring, collecting government funds in order to pay her rent, and is again over 55 years old, monitoring. Walking in engineered light is focused on me. Satan is using vessels that are way over the age of majority and under the age of majority. This is state action. All right, this is the city of Ontario gang stalking under the fake sun that was over the top of my head at Tracy Banks' apartment at 11:50 a.m. Let's count the hours together, where you're seeing the elderly on walkers who don't create any booming noises inside of the apartment either. They're stalking with amplified noise, stalking with engineered light, and stalking under a fake sun over a senior citizen apartment complex where they're gang stalking. 11:50, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 6 hours when you're seeing a demon driving that truck crossing path. All right, they're doing so under that light source that's specifically over the apartment complex where the elderly are both collecting government funds in order to pay their rent. They're unemployed terrorists at a senior citizen complex, and they're all stalking in violation of the Violence Against Women Act at this HUD-regulated property, which Daryl J. Carter, the chairman and CEO, where his community manager, the AVANATH employee, Linda Reyes, is gang stalking under this idle fake sun that's over the same sidewalk like I documented on April 25th, 2025 at 10:25 in the morning. 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 hours later, the fake sun is over the same sidewalk where she's pacing, just like these demons are over the same sidewalk, gang stalking. And that's what they called an inspection. It's the P.O.C. It is the P.O.C. It is 5:26 p.m. at AVANATH Capital Management's Woodside Senior Apartments. This is impossible light. That's manifesting in the shade. That is light manifesting in the shade. That shade over there, there's this distinction between light and shade, and you also have light that manifests in field. This is my shadow that's appearing at a distance on the wall. That's all impossible light. It's on the floor, and it's also separate from the light that's framing the same front door like it was this morning. Okay, and you just saw Tracy Banks engage in the same thing that she did at 7 o'clock in the morning when the fake sun isn't even out yet. But the fake sun is out over her apartment and remaining over her apartment from sunrise until sunset. This is P.O.C.